Hello, I'm Deanna Herron, host of the Deanna Herron Podcast Show. Have you ever wanted to do something bold, like start a business, write a book, or go for your dream job? This show was created for women just like you who want to be bold, shine bright with grace. My goal is to educate you, inspire you, and empower you with ideas that can transform your life. Be inspired by the Deanna Herron Podcast Show at deannaherron.net. Hello and welcome to the Deanna Herron Podcast Show. This is Deanna Herron, your host. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm excited to be with you today. On today's podcast, I'm going to share something with you that's really near and dear to my heart. Being a type A personality, somebody who really thrives on getting things done, I'm going to share with you a couple of tips and start by asking you a question. Are you becoming, or are you just focused on doing? I have to tell you, there were times where I am a checklist person. I want to check off my to-do list. And boy, that gives me such a great sense of power, such a great sense of belief. But if you truly want success, I'm going to talk to you about what it really takes. So again, are you doing or are you becoming? If you haven't had an opportunity to listen to last week's podcast, go back and take a listen. It's a great podcast just to show you how you can grow in your leadership, grow in who you are to become the best version of yourself. So let's get started on today's podcast. Many years ago, when I started my own business, I remember hearing, and maybe this is familiar to you as well, fake it until you make it. Fake it until you make it. And I have to tell you, that did not sit well with me in the beginning, because faking it was not authentic to who I was, right? But I want to switch that around for you just a little bit and share with you the reason why we fake it until we make it is we are always becoming. And anything that you're doing in life, whether it's business, whether it's your family, whatever that is that you are doing, we are always in a becoming stage. We've never truly arrived. And so fake it until you make it means that you want to acquire some of those things, those character traits that it's going to take you to become where you want to go. And let me explain this to you. So act as if. I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what your aspirations are in your career or what your aspirations are as an entrepreneur. I'm going to share with you some of mine. In the beginning of my business, in the beginning of leadership, in the beginning of becoming an entrepreneur and doing something that I had no idea what I was doing, I needed to act as if I were a top leader. That's what I mean by fake it until you make it. Act as if I was driving a Rolls Royce or a Mercedes Benz or the car of my dreams. I needed to act as if. And what does that mean? How does it feel to drive a luxury car? Put those feelings and those emotions in with it. Act as if you have a second home on the beach. What does that look like if you act as if you own a second home? Do you feel freer? Do you feel like you have the ability to go and travel and be by the beach anytime that you and your family want to? So act as if. What does a person who has a second home, how do they act? Someone who drives a Mercedes or Rolls Royce, how do they feel? How do they act? How did they become? Act as if you are a millionaire. That was one of my goals to achieve before the age of 40. I wanted to become a millionaire because of the person that I would become in the process. So act as if you are a millionaire. Act as if you are wearing those red bottom shoes already. Don't you feel a little prissy, a little sexier just by thinking that thought? Maybe you don't want red bottom shoes. Maybe you want a different brand of shoes. Act as if you're carrying a Louis Vuitton bag. Act as if you have the home of your dreams. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How does someone who owns the home of their dreams, how do they act? Here's a good one for you. Act as if you have written a check for $1 million to your favorite charitable organization, right? That hasn't happened to me yet, but it will. I guarantee it will. It's on my dream board. Act as if you have written a check for $1 million at one time to your favorite organization. How does that feel to you? Pretty amazing, right? Act as if you are taking your family on a dream vacation. Whatever that is to you and your dreams and your future, act as if. And I'm not asking you to fake it. Here's what I'm going to ask. So getting what we want is more than just acting as if. It's more than faking it until we make it. It's about being the qualities it takes to become. And that's truly what I want to talk to you about today. It's about being those qualities. The work is in the becoming. It's in the becoming of that person. When you start a career, when you start a business or anything new, you have to do what it takes to get paid. We do, right? So anytime we have a career, we walk into that career and we do what needs to be done so we can get a paycheck at the end of the week. Entrepreneurs, they have to do a lot of work before they actually get paid most of the time. But we know that we have to do the work. The point is, most of the time, we focus on what we have to do to become successful and not what we have to become. So success is on the becoming. And that's what I want you to focus on. I want you to stop focusing on so much of the to-do. The to-do has to be done, but more on the becoming. Who you are becoming to have those things that you want to create in your life. So I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you need to become in order to get what you want? So have you made a list of what you want? That's the first way to start. You should have a dream board. You should have some goals. You should have some aspirations. You should have that visualization of what you want to create in your life. Who do I need to become to get where I want to go? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. To have what you want. What is it that you want? To live the lifestyle that you want, to give what you want. Who do you need to become? So instead of having your to-do list today, I'm going to give you your to become list. And so these are some things I really want you to think about this week. Who do I need to become? Here is your to become list. The first thing that I want you to think about is think of one person that you admire. I don't want you to be like that person, but that one person, there are qualities that that person has that you admire. And I want you to think about those qualities. So what are those qualities? Are they friendly? Are they fun to be around? Are they disciplined? Do they have a healthy marriage? Do they have amazing children? Do they have incredible values? Are they successful? What is it? What is it about that person? What are their qualities that you are attracted to? Write those down. Number two, of the person that you admire, what do they do differently than you? So yes, we need to know what their qualities are that we are admiring, that we want to be more like, but we also need to know what they do differently, because until we realize that they're doing something different, we won't know we need to change. And so what do they do differently than you do? Okay. That's another question to ask yourself. Question number three, what are some of the daily habits or disciplines that this person that I admire, what are some of the daily habits and disciplines that they have that you can incorporate into your life? Do they eat clean? Do they exercise? Do they have a morning routine? Are they disciplined in their daily habits? Are they disciplined about their time? Are they disciplined about their activity to do their business? What are some of their daily habits and disciplines? And the person that you admire, the fourth question, how do they carry themselves? How do they carry themselves? And I want you to think of it like this. Do they carry themselves very proud? Do they carry themselves like they're confident? Do they carry themselves like they're a professional person? Or do they carry themselves, probably not, like they're tired, they're exhausted, they're in yoga pants all day, they don't have their hair done, they don't have their makeup done because they're just exhausted? Chances are that is not something that you are attracted to. You are attracted to someone who carries themselves well. This, I'm telling you, was a huge thing that I needed to change, because when we moved to the country 4 years ago, it's a little more casual here. And I caught myself being that person who was always in yoga pants, always with their hair not done, with no makeup, etc. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not doing that all the time, but I needed to show up as my best self in order for me to reach the goals that I want to reach. Because the people that I'm chasing, they show up. They show up as a professional person. They dress up daily. They're kind, they're friendly, they're approachable. And so I want you to think about that. How does the person that you admire, how do they show up? Do they show up by getting up early in the morning? Do they show up by having a tidy house, not a perfect house, having their bed made? How are they showing up in their life? And I want you to write those things down. How can you incorporate any of these? Okay, so I want to go back to your to become list. First of all, you're going to think of one person that you admire. Just one person you admire and why you admire them. What are their qualities that you admire? What are some of the qualities that you admire? That's number one. What do they do differently than you? That's number two. What are some of their daily habits and disciplines? You guys, this is key. I'm just going to tell you, every leader, every successful person has accumulated habits and disciplines that they've incorporated into their life. And they don't stop once they get to a certain level of success. It's a continual life habit, always incorporating daily disciplines. So what are some of their daily disciplines? What is one that you can incorporate today? And number four, the fourth question that you want to ask yourself about the person that you admire, how do they carry themselves? Do they carry themselves as a successful person or as someone who's tired and exhausted? Are they approachable? Or are they not approachable? How do they carry themselves? What are some things that you can incorporate into your life? So I've given you 4 things to think about on your to become list. And now your homework is, which one will you incorporate right away? Which one, quality, discipline, habit, the way that you carry yourself, will you incorporate right away? Maybe it's just getting up, putting on a little makeup, and dressing for success. Maybe it's developing the discipline every morning of getting up 30 minutes early so that you can grow yourself personally and as a leader. What is the one thing that you can do right now to incorporate right away? So I don't want to teach you to fake it until you make it. I want to teach you how to become and not be so focused on your daily to-do list that is going to keep you in that rat race. You have to evolve and become the person that writes the $1 million check. You have to evolve to become the person who wears those red bottom shoes with style and class. You have to become to have that second home. So yes, you have to do the things, but it's about evolving. So no matter how hard you work, you guys, and you complete your to-do list, To-do lists will never be enough. Nothing changes until you become. You have to change your thoughts, your attitudes, your habits, and your behaviors. Listen, I'm in this game with you. I'm constantly becoming. I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly chasing that next best version of myself. I'm chasing myself of tomorrow. I'm chasing myself in 5 years. I will always become, I will always do, but it's always about evolving. I believe in you, and I want you to really dive into this week and really find out what is the one thing that I can do today to start becoming the person that I need to be to create the dreams of a lifetime. Thank you for joining this amazing community and this podcast, you guys. It means the world to me to be able to speak my heart and love through this podcast, through an amazing community of uplifting leadership women, women of power, women of grace, and women who want their light to shine so bright. If you have not yet joined Deanna's Diamonds, you can go to my website, deannaherron.net, and just click on that little icon, the Facebook icon, and it will send you there and I'll accept your request. It's a group of amazing women. I've gone live talking about how to increase your social media. I have gone live about, becoming the best version of yourself, etc. So there are some trainings, but it's just a group of amazing women who love, encourage, and uplift each other. I would love for you to be a part of that. Follow me on Instagram at Deanna Herron. Thank you so much for all of your messages, encouraging on this podcast, sharing with me some future topics for this podcast. I appreciate that so much. I want to give you what you want to hear. So please go and follow me and just send me a message if there's something you would love to hear, because I'd really like to meet you there. Finally, if this podcast has added value to you, if you could rate, review, and subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And if you love this podcast, share it with your friends and family. I would love to be a blessing to anyone that you bring my way. So have an amazing week, you guys. Happy July. I am excited to share with you next week, and I look forward to spending time with you then. God bless everyone.